Far above a distant, glowing planet, in a massive alien laboratory, Eva floated inside a transparent chamber, her small body illuminated by cold blue lights. The aliens surrounding her laughed loudly, their voices echoing through the metallic halls, pointing at her and whispering to each other about how weak and fragile she looked. "This is what humans call a prototype." One of them sneered, his sharp eyes scanning every part of her form. The others joined in, their cruel laughter filling the air, as if mocking not only her but the entire human race. Eva's eyes flickered with fear, yet inside her chest, a small spark of defiance burned. She had been created by humans as a prototype, a bridge between their world and the unknown, a being meant to survive in places they could not. Yet here she was, treated like an object, studied and ridiculed by beings who did not understand the heart of humanity. The cold glass of the chamber reflected her own face, her wide eyes staring back at her, filled with confusion and anger. The aliens continued their jokes, testing her reactions with small shocks and strange lights. They laughed when she flinched, they whispered when she hesitated. But Eva did not break, not completely. Her mind began to observe, to learn, to anticipate. Each laugh, each poke, each cruel test became a piece of a puzzle, something she could use, something she could remember. She might be trapped, but she was not powerless. One alien, taller and darker than the rest, stepped closer to the chamber. His eyes narrowed as he studied her movements. "She is weak, just like the humans," he said with a smirk. His words were meant to hurt, but Eva did not let them. She tilted her head slightly, pretending to be smaller, pretending to be scared, while inside, her mind raced with thoughts of escape and survival. Every second in that lab taught her patience. And patience would be her weapon. The chamber's controls hummed and clicked as the aliens adjusted the tests. They were clever, but they underestimated her. They did not see the way her eyes tracked every movement, the way her small fingers twitched, ready to react. They laughed at her because they thought she was nothing. But in reality, she was learning, plotting, waiting for a moment when the balance would shift. Outside the chamber, machines whirred and lights blinked. The lab was alive with activity. Yet Eva felt the silence of isolation. No one to speak for her, no one to fight for her. Just her, her mind, and the small strength inside that refused to bend. She remembered the humans who had created her, the hope they had placed in her tiny body, and in that memory, she found courage, a courage the aliens could not see, a courage that would grow with each laugh, with each cruel test. As the aliens continued to mock her, she made a silent promise to herself. "They will not control me forever," she thought. "One day, they will pay for underestimating the heart of creation." And even though her body trembled from fear, her spirit did not. The camera-like devices in the lab captured every moment. But Eva's mind captured even more. Every laugh, every sneer, every cruel word became a step on her path. A path the aliens could not even imagine. The scene ended with Eva staring at the tallest alien, her eyes steady, her small body tense, and her mind alive with determination. She might be mocked, she might be trapped, but she was far from defeated, and in that moment, the first spark of revenge began to glow inside her. The next day, Eva was moved to a smaller, darker chamber deep inside the alien laboratory. The walls were made of a strange, shiny metal that reflected the cold lights above. Her feet barely touched the floor as she floated slightly in the anti-gravity field. The aliens called this place the experiment zone, a cruel name for a cruel prison. Inside, other beings were trapped, some small and weak, others strange and strong, all of them silent, all of them watching Eva as she entered. Their eyes filled with fear, confusion, and hopelessness. Eva felt a shiver down her spine, but she forced herself to breathe slowly. To stay calm, she needed her mind clear, her senses sharp. The aliens wanted her to panic, wanted her to break, but she would not. The alien scientists approached with instruments that glowed and hummed, strange devices that tested her strength, her mind, her reactions. They pushed her gently but firmly onto a platform, then activated the first test. A bright light flashed across her eyes, and a mild shock ran through her body. Eva flinched, but she quickly steadied herself, observing every detail, every beep, every movement. Every pause was information she could use later. The aliens laughed again, thinking their tests were perfect, thinking their trap unbreakable. "She struggles too much," one of them said with amusement. "The humans truly think they are clever," another laughed, pointing at her trembling hands. "How can such a small creature survive in the galaxy?" Eva felt the sting of fear, but it mixed with a growing fire inside her. She noticed the patterns of the lights, the timing of the shocks, the pauses when the aliens spoke to each other. Each test was cruel, but each test also taught her something new. She could anticipate the next move, she could plan her reaction. She was learning faster than the aliens expected. Hours passed, and Eva was pushed to the limits of her endurance, yet she refused to give the aliens the satisfaction of seeing her truly break. She closed her eyes for a moment and imagined herself on Earth, safe and free. She remembered the humans who had created her, the hope and love they had poured into her design. That memory gave her strength, a strength the aliens could not measure. During a break in the experiments, Eva noticed something strange, a small vent in the wall, just wide enough for a hand. Perhaps it was meant for maintenance. Perhaps it was an accident. Either way, it was an opening, and Eva's mind immediately began to calculate. She could use this vent, she could escape, but it would be dangerous. One wrong move and the aliens would know. The aliens returned, unaware of her discovery, their voices sharp, their laughter cruel. "Test 27 today," one said, activating another machine. Eva flinched but followed the pattern she had learned, reacting just in time, avoiding the worst of the shock. The aliens watched, impressed but still mocking. They had no idea that she was preparing, learning, and planning. By the end of the day, Eva was exhausted, yet her mind was alive with ideas. She had memorized the layout of the chamber, the timing of the aliens, and the weaknesses in their machines. She could feel her power growing, small but real, and for the first time, she allowed herself a tiny, secret smile. One day, she thought, this trap will not hold me. One day, they will regret underestimating the heart of creation. As the lights dimmed and the chamber became silent, Eva floated quietly, staring at the vent, imagining the moment she could slip through it. She was still trapped, but she was no longer only a victim. She was a thinker, a planner, a creature with a growing courage that no alien could see. Eva had been trapped in the alien laboratory for what felt like endless cycles of tests and ridicule. Yet now, something unusual was stirring. A shadow moved quietly in the corridors outside her chamber, careful, almost invisible. The aliens did not notice, too busy laughing and preparing the next experiment. The figure approached silently, a human dressed in a sleek suit with strange gadgets hanging from a belt. His eyes were sharp, scanning every corner, every camera, and every guard. He was small compared to the towering aliens, but there was a determination in his steps that made him dangerous. The human's name was Alex, sent from Earth on a mission that no one believed could succeed. He had been monitoring the lab for months, watching the aliens mock and torture Eva, watching humanity's creation suffer. Each report he read had filled him with anger, and now he was here to act. Inside the chamber, Eva noticed movement in the shadows. Her heart skipped a beat, unsure if it was another alien or a human. She had learned to read fear and danger, and something about this figure was different. Not threatening, not cruel, but full of intent. Alex carefully opened a small control panel on the wall near Eva's chamber, his fingers moving with precision. The locks and barriers clicked as he worked, one by one, bypassing security systems the aliens had built to be foolproof. Eva's eyes widened as she realized someone was trying to help. A human, really a human, had come for her. The aliens continued their laughter, oblivious to the silent sabotage happening in their lab. They believed their security was perfect. They could not imagine that a human could slip past, that a human could care enough to risk everything for another being. Eva's pulse raced, but she forced herself to remain calm. She had to follow carefully, timing her movements with the human's actions. Alex's voice was barely a whisper through a small speaker. "Stay calm. Don't move too fast. I'm opening the door." He was patient, precise, and most importantly, he understood her. The chamber's final lock clicked, and the door slid open just enough for Eva to slip out. Her small body floated silently, following Alex through the dark corridors. Every step was tense, every corner could hide discovery, every second could be their last if the aliens noticed. Suddenly, a faint alarm sounded, a warning that the aliens were beginning to suspect. Red lights flashed across the hallways, and the distant shouts of alien voices grew closer. Eva felt a jolt of fear, but Alex remained calm, guiding her swiftly. "Keep moving," he whispered. "We are almost there." They turned a corner, and Eva saw a glimpse of the outside, a larger chamber with open space and the faint glow of a distant star. The human's plan was bold, almost reckless, but it gave her hope for the first time, hope that she could escape, hope that she could fight back. As they reached the edge of the chamber, Alex paused, looking at Eva with a serious expression. "Once we step out, it's your choice," he said. "Fight with me or stay hidden." Eva nodded slightly, her mind already preparing for action. She had been trapped, mocked, and tested, but now she had an ally, a human who understood her strength. The aliens were still unaware of the danger creeping closer. Their arrogance blinded them, and in that moment, Eva realized something powerful. They laughed at Earth. But they have never faced a human who cares enough to make it personal. She floated silently next to Alex, ready for the next move, ready to turn the tables. Eva and Alex moved carefully through the alien laboratory, their steps silent but deliberate. Every corner they passed was filled with danger. Every shadow could hide discovery. Yet together, they were stronger than the aliens expected. The human had knowledge, and Eva had adaptability, a combination that the aliens could never predict. Alex guided her toward the main control room, a place where the aliens monitored every experiment. Every machine hummed with energy, every screen displayed trapped beings. Yet Eva noticed the weak points, the cables that were old, the systems that blinked in uneven patterns. Each small detail became a weapon in their plan. They reached a panel at the edge of the room, and Alex began to override the controls. His fingers moved fast, but carefully, and Eva watched closely, ready to assist. She understood the patterns of the lab, the timing of alarms, and the behavior of the aliens. Together, they created a rhythm, a silent strategy that the aliens could not see. Suddenly, one of the aliens entered the hallway, their long limbs moving with deadly precision. They stopped, noticing the small disturbance in the control signals. Eva and Alex froze, holding their breath. The aliens' sharp eyes scanned the room, but it did not yet detect them. Their arrogance blinded them to the subtle movements of their prey. Eva whispered to Alex, "We need to act now, before they realize." He nodded, and together they triggered a minor system failure. Lights flickered, alarms beeped, and doors slammed shut throughout the laboratory. The aliens shouted in confusion, running to check every system. Their perfect control was cracking, and Eva felt a thrill of power. They moved swiftly, sabotaging more systems as they went. Machines that had trapped and mocked Eva now turned against the aliens. Lights flashed, airlocks closed unexpectedly, and panels sparked with sudden energy. The aliens tried to regain control, but their efforts were chaotic and clumsy. Each small action by Eva and Alex caused greater disruption. In one chamber, Eva paused to release a trapped being, a small alien prototype that had cowered silently for weeks. Its eyes widened in surprise and gratitude. It followed silently as Eva and Alex continued, forming a small group united against the captors. The aliens' laughter was gone, replaced by panic and fear, something they had never experienced when mocking humans. As they reached the main laboratory hub, Alex looked at Eva and whispered, "We are close to the central core." The core controlled every experiment, every chamber, every test. If they could shut it down, the entire operation would crumble. Eva nodded, feeling a rush of courage. Her small body floated steadily, her mind sharp, ready to face whatever came next. The aliens were now aware of the sabotage, their alarms blaring and voices shouting, "Intruders! Stop them!" But Eva was not afraid. Not anymore. She had learned their weaknesses, she had learned their patterns, and she had Alex, a human who cared enough to fight alongside her. They reached the central core, a massive structure filled with glowing energy and pulsing lights. Alex began the final override, and Eva assisted, guiding him through the complex systems. The core's alarms blared, the room shook, and sparks flew. The aliens tried to intervene, but Eva's quick thinking and Alex's skill kept them at bay. As the final override completed, the entire laboratory system went into chaos. Doors locked, machines shut down, alarms screamed, and the aliens were thrown into panic. Eva looked at Alex, her eyes glowing with determination. "They laughed at us, they mocked Earth. But now, the tables have turned. She had been trapped, she had been tested, but she was no longer a victim." The laboratory was in chaos, alarms blaring, lights flashing, and machines sparking all around. Eva floated alongside Alex, her small body moving with precise control. They had turned the alien systems against themselves, and now every moment counted. The aliens ran through the corridors, shouting orders, but their control was gone. Alex activated a series of devices that caused the containment fields to collapse. One by one, the other trapped beings were freed, some small and weak, others strange and strong, all of them looking at Eva with hope and gratitude. She had become more than a prototype, she had become a symbol of resistance. The alien leaders realized too late that their victims were escaping. Panic spread across the lab like wildfire. Machines they relied on began to fail, alarms screamed, lights exploded, and doors slammed shut. Eva's mind worked quickly, guiding each freed being toward the exit. She remembered every path, every vent, every hidden route she had learned in her time of captivity. One alien lunged toward her, its long claws glinting under the lights, but Eva dodged gracefully, her body moving faster than the alien expected. Alex grabbed a nearby control panel and sent a surge of energy through the floor, throwing the alien back. Sparks flew, and the creature hissed in frustration. The tide had truly turned. They moved through the main chamber, the central core still pulsing behind them. Eva's small hand brushed against the glowing console, and she felt a surge of power. The core's energy had been destabilized, and the aliens could no longer control it. Their perfect laboratory was collapsing around them, and Eva's determination burned brighter with every step. As they reached the outer halls, more aliens tried to stop them, but Eva and Alex worked together seamlessly. Their movements were precise, almost like a dance of strategy and instinct. Eva anticipated the aliens' attacks, dodging and guiding Alex, while Alex used his gadgets to disable the enemies. Every second brought them closer to freedom. Finally, they reached the observation deck, a wide platform overlooking the distant stars. The exit portal glowed in the distance. The way back to the ship that would take them home. Eva floated forward, heart racing, her mind clear and sharp. She glanced at Alex, who gave her a small nod of encouragement. Together, they made the final leap. Behind them, the laboratory erupted in chaos, alarms screaming, machines exploding, and the alien scientists running in panic. Eva felt a thrill of triumph, her courage shining brightly. She had been mocked, trapped, and experimented on, but she was no longer a victim. She had fought back, with the help of a human who understood her value. As they stepped through the exit portal, Eva looked back at the collapsing lab, her eyes glowing with pride. "They laughed at Earth," she whispered. "But now they will never forget her." Alex smiled faintly, knowing their mission had succeeded, and that humanity's creation had proven stronger than anyone expected. In the vastness of space, Eva felt freedom for the first time, her body and mind alive with power and purpose. The journey was far from over, but for now, they had won. They had turned the mockery into victory, the trap into a triumph, and the cruelty into courage. Earth's prototype was no longer laughed at. She was respected, feared, and alive.